guys, I am back with another video. So yeah, you're not gonna believe what happened to me when I shared this story with you guys, and I shared the events with you guys. Like, I want you guys to have the full details around these two events that I'm going to be sharing with you very soon in this video. So yeah, stay tuned. If you want to hear this story, stay tuned. I almost ruined my reputation. It was bad. Okay, so here's how the story starts. I have a niece that is in her early 20s, and she was legally adopted by my aunt. And so my aunt is actually her great aunt and her adopted mother. And so she reached out to me via message. You know, this new generation, they don't believe in picking up the phone. They want to text you and DM you. And I'm just like, pick up the phone. I can't send 20 text messages, back and forth. But anyway, she reached out to me and she was like, let's do something nice for Auntie because she's been so wonderful to us and so wonderful to me. And I would really like to show her my appreciation. And I was like, you know what? That's a great idea. And so she reached out to all of the girl cousins and asked us, and some of the boy cousins, to ask us to lend our talents to create this, beautiful party for our aunt that was turning 55. And so I said, well, let me check my calendar and I'll get back with you. So she wanted to have the party on 7/7. And I was like, oh, great. I'm available that weekend. Robert and I can kind of take an extended trip and enjoy my family because it's been a while since the both of us have been able to go see my family, my side of the family together. And so yeah, everything was working out fine. I have two cousins that are girls. They're sisters. One of them is actually a professional chef. She graduated from culinary school, and the other one owned a wing restaurant. And I'm a decorator, and I also have another cousin who's a boy, and he is a professional photographer. So putting all the gifts together, like, we were gonna do this big grand party for my aunt in my hometown. And I just thought it was such a phenomenal thing for us to be able to pull all of our gifts together and to celebrate her in this way. Like, the feeling was so unbelievable. And so we pulled this party together with less than 2 weeks to plan. And I mean, all the details came together. I'm going to share it with you guys. You're not going to believe it. It turned out really beautiful. And it really matched my aunt's personality. But it was just like the least that we could do to thank her for all the things that she did in our lives, because our parents were single parents. All of our parents were single parents, me and my cousins. And so by my aunt being single, she was able to help our mothers out by doing our hair. Like, she's a hairstylist by trade, and so by profession, that's her profession. And so she kept us with like the French rolls and the waves, and we wore extensions before extensions were popular. I had curly weave in the 7th grade. I mean, we just had it going on. And so and she would always buy us clothing. When I was in college, she would send me, nice jewelry. Like, she bought me this big thick herringbone chain, rings, satellite. You remember the big satellite rings? Yes, all of that. So this was like the least that we could do as a family. And we went on and to create this party and plan it, and everything came together wonderfully. It was going to be an intimate event with family and very close friends, about 40 to 50 people, and everything just went off without a hitch. I mean, it was just great. So before I left, I had a client that, of course, I had a baby shower scheduled for her the next weekend. So she reached out to me and wanted me to go and look at the venue that we were planning the shower at. So the venue we were planning to have the shower. And so before I left to go out of town, I said, well, let's move the meeting up to 10 o'clock so that I can get home in time to decorate and set up and everything for my aunt's party. And she was fine with that. So yeah, and let me say this. I live about 4 hours from where I currently live. So it's about a 4-hour drive with no traffic and no accidents from my house to my hometown. So when I met with the client at the venue, we were looking at the setup and everything, and I was taking pictures and taking notes because we had a very limited time to actually decorate for the baby shower. Now, this baby shower was for 200 people. I typically plan for 50 to 75 people. I don't really like to go over 100. So I guess my focus is more intimate event, but because she's very close to me and they had such a great story, you know, I really wanted to sew into this baby shower for her. She and her husband have been trying to have a baby for 8 years, and you know, God blessed them, and it was definitely something I wanted to be able to give or contribute to. And that's a whole nother lesson within itself. You know, the Bible says that God gives us seed to sow and bread to eat, but it's important for us to know what seeds to sow and what bread to eat. So don't sow your bread or eat your seed, but that's a whole nother lesson. So that's what I wanted to do for her. So as we were leaving the venue, we were getting ready to leave out, and she looked at me and she said, so are you okay with the room being the same since we have such a short time frame? Are you okay with the room being set up the exact same way for tomorrow? Tomorrow? I'm getting ready to go to Greenville, which is like 4 hours away. What are you talking about tomorrow? She was like, Miss Melanie, the shower's tomorrow. What? I am on my way to Greenville to decorate for my aunt's 55th birthday party. Everybody's waiting on me, and your shower for 200 people is tomorrow? OMG. I have scheduled the cake for next Saturday, the backdrop for next Saturday, all my help for next Saturday, the centerpieces for next Saturday. Like, everything is scheduled for next week, not tomorrow. And I was not planning on being in town tomorrow. I had to pause for the cause. Just thinking about this, like, oh my gosh. And I just sat there, and the first thing I thought was, let me call Rachel. Like, I didn't want her to see me panic because she's 8 months pregnant and she's very pregnant. I did not want her to see me panic, but at the same time, you guys, like, my nerves were shot. So I called Rachel, and just by the grace of God, she was not booked this weekend. And she was actually gonna do a photo shoot for her business. And so she was like, I can get you in. Thank God. So the cake was in place. And then I called another lady that I work with. And although she was working, she had all the linens and things like that in place. So we were good. I called the centerpiece, the balloon artists that were doing the centerpieces for me. And they were able to readjust their schedules and be there on time. We have it going on. And so she was able to get quite a bit of people to help set up and break down because of this limited time frame. So that was a go. And so finally, my last piece of the puzzle was the backdrop. So I called for the backdrop, and the guy who normally does my backdrops, he was out of town. So I had to do my own backdrop, which I could do it, but there were some things that I would have liked to have practiced or perfected with him. But hey, I'll take it. Like, the cake, the decor, everything fell in place. So my husband was like, you know, he drove me to Greenville. We decorated for my aunt's party. Everything went great. My aunt loved it. She cried. I had time to spend with my family. It was wonderful. We packed up and put everything back in the car to drive back that night. So we drove 4 hours there, 4 hours back after having a party. We got back, and I immediately went into planning mode because this is 200 people. Like, 200 people, and I had to get it done, and I was only gonna have less than 12 hours to get this whole thing planned out and decorated by the time we got back home, because when we got back home, it was after midnight. So that morning, I just did my devotion time and I read and I just prayed and I said, God, help me in this situation. Like, I cannot do this by myself. Like, I can't do this. There is no way. I'm one person. I cannot decorate for 200 people in this short time frame. First of all, I thank God for not allowing me to miss it. Like, can you imagine like what would have happened to me as a professional event planner if I had flaked out on a 200 person event? Like, that would have killed me. Like, that would have destroyed me. Not just like what the people would have said in the community, but me missing this moment for her. That would have, like, I don't care about what the people would have said, like, but just not being able to be there for her and come through for her would have absolutely devastated me. Like, I probably would have cried for the rest of the year. Like, that would have devastated me. So I was so thankful to God that, you know, she said that so that I wasn't 4 hours away, and she called me at 1:30 wondering where I am, because there was no way I could have gotten from Greenville to here in 2 hours. Like, the shower would have started and ended by the time I got here. And so, yeah, I was really thankful. So I prayed that morning, that Saturday morning of the shower, and I just asked God to just, you know, bring everything together for me, to line up everything, to make all the crooked places straight and all the rough places smooth. And you guys, he did just that. When I got to the venue, now granted, we only had 2 hours to completely set up the room. While I was gone, the owner of the venue had contacted my client and said that they were not going to leave the tables down from the event the night before because they couldn't clean properly. So they had to completely clear out this humongous room. And when we went in the room, it was empty. Not a chair, not a table down. So on top of decorating for 200 people, on top of 40 tablecloths and 200 chair covers, a backdrop, dessert table, food tables, all of that, we had to set up table and chairs. So I had a team in place that was absolutely amazing. I have a friend, a designer friend, Miss Nina. She like drew out the tables for me, did all the math behind how many tables should be set up and how it was calculated. I had another friend who pulled all the tablecloths and things like that together for me. When I got to the venue on Saturday, I was waiting in the car, and there were two complete strangers, like complete strangers, that they were, you know, in the area just checking out wedding venues. And they noticed I was unpacking, and I was just waiting for everybody else to arrive. And they walked up and they was like, "Can I help you?" And they actually dedicated their time to helping me, you know, get set up. The door was unlocked a little bit earlier than expected, which that hour meant everything because we were able to get every single thing done. The shower turned out wonderful. My aunt's party turned out wonderful. So when you look at these events, you know, I just want you guys to kind of know the backstory behind it, and that when God, you know, calls you to do something, even if it's something that is as small as decorating, when he calls you to do something, he's going to make a way for it to happen no matter what it is. And that really just showed me his grace and his mercy, and just how much he loves us and how much he cares about what we do. I mean, right now I can just break down in tears because everything turned out so beautiful, but it was just by the grace of God. And that event for me solidified that, you know, I'm not planning just because this is what I want to do, but I plan because I enjoy making people happy. There is nothing more rewarding to me than seeing the smile on the face of whoever, you know, the guest of honor may be. Like, that makes me so happy. And if I had to ruin that moment with her, I would have been so devastated. But I'm just so thankful and so gracious that words cannot explain how thankful and grateful that I am that everything turned out so wonderful. And I really came to see that it was not by might nor by my power, but simply by the Spirit of God. So it's somebody out here that is watching this right now. I want you to know that if God called you to do it, no matter how difficult or impossible that it may seem, no matter how rough it may be, no matter how many obstacles are thrown at you, no matter how much time you have, no matter how many resources you have or don't have, if he has it for you to do, he's gonna make a way for you to do it. You just keep pushing and keep your eyes on the prize. And one thing that I said throughout this whole process, I was like, look, I don't have time for negativity. I don't want anything negative around me, any naysayers, any negative spirits or energy, because I want this to be positive. I want this experience to be positive for her and for everyone around. And that is what God did. He made it a positive experience for everybody. I'm so thankful for the people that helped me, no matter how large or small. Thank you so much. And most of all, I am so thankful to God, because if it was not for him, this would not have happened. And I'm just so thankful. I have something very exciting coming to share with you guys concerning Melanie Turner planning, events and planning. And I cannot wait to share it. I know this video is like super long, but I really needed to tell you guys the story. I'm gonna have to post the parties like after this, so you guys can see like the parties, because then this video would be like super long. But yeah, I didn't mean to like get all preachy, but this is my chit chat. Like, this is my form of chit chatting. So I don't know if you guys like this kind of thing. Let me know. I'll be sure to share more with you. But yeah, so I'm just rambling now. So I'm going to end this video here. Just remember, if he called you to do it, he will make a way for you to get through it. Just keep pushing. Don't stop, no matter what. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and enjoyed this little chit chat with me. If you like these intimate type videos, let me know. I think I mentioned that before, but I'm really serious about it because I do like sharing this kind of thing with you guys. I hope you all enjoyed this. And until next time, it's Melanie with Living Luxuriously for Less. Cheers.